Hello, DevOps friends! What is even happening? What is going on? How is it even Tuesday already? Didn't I just finish my office hour, my Friday afternoon office hour? I have no idea. And I also have no idea why the font in my stream chat here is enormous. Let me go ahead and fix that right away, because, yeah, we can't have that. How is everyone? That is really strange. What's going on here? Did something change in social stream? Maybe I'm missing a font size setting somewhere. Yeah, that might actually be the case. Okay, so how about we add a font size here? No idea. 14 pixels? What happens if we do 14 pixels? Let's add a test. 14 pixels is still too large. So does 10 pixels make a difference? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. We're getting there. I think I need to change the CSS here a little bit. There's also a background that I don't want to have. It's still there, but I can test that and I can fix that later. Important is that on-screen display does work. So, I'm sorry. Tuesday, I have no new setup, so I need to find out where to look, actually. I realized that the reason that I have been suffering from neck pain and even headaches lately is probably because I changed my monitor setup and I lowered one of my two monitors to have the camera peek over the top edge. And looking down, even so slightly all the time, probably made my neck hurt. And so I changed my setup. Now I have two screens almost side by side with a little gap in between, and that's where the camera is peeking through. So I've squeezed you in between my monitors, and I hope that'll help me have a little bit better posture and less neck pain and headaches. And, well, yeah, I can actually look you directly in the eyes, even though I don't see them. That is that. Other than that, I've recently, yesterday I sent out my new newsletter. And let me make sure that I'm actually connected to the Twitch API here, because it seems like, yep, that's stuck connecting. That looks better. Okay, so newsletter just went out yesterday with a new mentor monologue, a column that I write every week. So if you're interested in DevOps, in the software engineering side or the system administration side, my weekly newsletter is free. and contains lots of hopefully interesting stuff with my mentor or monologue column, as well as the reading list that I curate every week. And of course, since the newsletter is named News from the Server Room, and I just launched my DevOps community platform called the Server Room, there's of course also updates from there as well. If you'd like to join us there, the membership sign up is open, and that's a great way for you not only to connect to a very friendly and safe community of DevOps practitioners, it's also a great way to support me as an alternative to Twitch subscriptions, for example. So if you are interested in boosting your career, in growing your skills, joining the Server Room is definitely a great alternative or a great option. BitSpectre highlighted a highlighted. That is great. Welcome to the stack, BitSpectre. Not sure if there's anything I can help you there, but nice to have you. All right, so what's the plan today? Well, the plan is, of course, documented in the !plan command too, but I can tell you, you don't have to use the command. I am going to do some Ruby coding today. I have a few things that I'd like to tackle, both on the infrastructure side of things and on the web application side of things, both related to my managed hosting business. And yeah, time to flex those Ruby muscles a little bit and not strain my neck muscles too much anymore. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Lowering that screen definitely was a mistake. It feels much better being able to look straight onto my screen, even though it's a little bit more to the side to accommodate for the camera. But I think that was a great correction. Yeah, so let me set up things while you come in, settle, grab a beverage, and let's get ready to do some Ruby coding. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to share, let's make this thing interactive. This is not supposed to be a 3-hour monologue on my side. The monologue should be reserved to my newsletter. So yeah, pop into chat. Let me know what you want to know or what you want to share. If there's anything that you are excited about at the moment, did you discover some open source software? Did you find new tool that helps you with development? All these things are great to share, and I'm curious to learn about them in chat. So, I need to, well, first I need to decide where to start, actually. I think I'm going to start with our Ruby on Rails application. So let me set up the development environment there. So one thing that I should actually change is how this is set up, but let me share that for you. BitSpectre digging into Nixos. It is a great platform, but it's very different as far as I can tell. But that's a great cue, actually, because I've just set up my development environment using DevBox, which is a Nix-based way to set up development environments, isolated ones at that. And that's why you can see that let's grab a sip of tea and let my language center in the brain recover. Just realizing that we have the same font size issue here as well. I'm pretty sure something changed in the chat integration here. Yeah. Let me see. Let me get this fixed quite quickly. So in the previous scene, a font size of 10 pixels seemed to do the trick. We'll keep everything else as it is. Okay, that cleared the chat box, but should actually resolve the font size issue. Could even be a little bit smaller, couldn't it? But we'll see. Let's fill this. Let's see this box fill a little bit, and then we'll tell if we need to change something. Okay, thanks for letting me know, BitSpectre. Always helpful. And if there's anything else with my stream setup, music too loud or something like that, let me know. Now, where were we? Yeah, I was explaining that I am in the process of switching my development environment to DevOps. It's based on the Nix package manager and Nix shell as well. And so here we are in this directory. This is still broken. Something is really broken here. I'm sorry about that. Something must have changed over the weekend there. It overflows and doesn't wrap correctly. Oh, that is a pity. Let's see. That is annoying, but don't want to waste a lot of time on fixing stuff, so I'll take a shortcut and simply go to this setup where chat doesn't appear on screen, so I don't have to fix it, and if I want to highlight something, I can still do that. So, BitSpectre says, I think I still have a preference for EndeavourOS, for now at least. Keep trying Debian or Ubuntu-based distros, but get a black bar on top of the display. Ever changed the refresh rate of the monitor? That's strange. Hardware support on Linux distributions should be pretty great by now, but yeah, depends on your graphics drivers and stuff like that, so there might still be problems. They shouldn't be related to the distribution though, rather to the version of graphics drivers or kernel that you're using. EndeavourOS is Arch based, isn't it? So it might have more up-to-date drivers than the Debian or Ubuntu based distros, I guess. So yeah. Do you have an unusual combination of graphics card and or monitor? Thankfully, that has been something that I hadn't had to deal with in recent months, or even at all since I switched to Linux as my desktop operating system. Running an NVIDIA card, of course, has its own downsides. Because, yeah, I need the NVIDIA card for streaming, and I wanted it also for gaming, so that's why I'm still rocking X11 here on my desktop. But with recent changes to the NVIDIA drivers, I might actually be able to switch to Wayland as well. And you're running an NVIDIA 2080, okay, and a 35-inch 100Hz monitor. I did have a 34-inch 120 Hz, I think, before I switched to a dual monitor setup. And that worked nicely with both an NVIDIA, what was my previous one, an NVIDIA 1080, I think. And then I switched to the 3060 that I'm running right now, and worked like that as well. So maybe it's a driver issue, maybe combined.
Get the subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1.
DEFCON 1, people. TBT Gamer is raiding us. BitSpectre and other viewers, help me defend the channel, and of course raiders, welcome. Use the attack command to test our defenses. Confused Leo, hello. TBT Gamer, how you doing? I hope you had a great stream. Did you continue your work on your current project or something else? Curious what you've been doing and what you are up to in general. I'm also only now getting started. I told everyone about my recent newsletter, and I also talked about how I'm now going to use DevOps as my development environment, both for infrastructure work and for my Ruby on Rails development that I'm going to do today. I'm going to start with working on the customer dashboard for my company's managed hosting platform. So yeah, Ruby is probably the it's the most likely language that you'll encounter on this stream, because I'm basically I basically do everything in Ruby nowadays. That might change in the near future, because Zoding really motivated me to try out Ada. Ada, of course, being not the newest of languages, but since it is so related to Pascal, which was one of the first programming languages that I learned in the late 80s, I really want to try out Ada, but for my productive work, for my daily work, it's going to be Ruby. TBT Gamer says, I was working on Drink Water today, a fully open source project for discussion on stream. Interesting name. Okay. Discussion on stream sounds great. Where can I learn more about that? Apart from, of course, watching your stream. Is there a GitHub repository or something like that? Feel free to post that in chat. By the way, posting links in chat is fine. I don't have any restrictions with that or for that. The only thing is abuse and lose. So if you post something malicious or something inappropriate, then you'll be banned. It's simple like that. So, drink water. Let's take a look at that, actually. Copy link address. Let's see. Application to help you remember to drink water. Nice. So, from the description here, I would say it's just the feature set is just a water minder like reminder feature, but you mentioned it's for discussion on stream. Oh, okay, now I get it. It's a project that you'd like to discuss on stream. You are working in public on this project. That makes perfect sense. Okay. I thought it was to facilitate, to foster discussions on stream, but I got you. Sorry for misunderstanding. That's great. Yeah, that's great. It's probably going to be a great showcase for team collaboration as well. So that sounds really interesting, and I'll definitely look into that. Rambling Geek is also a contributor, as I can see. So, yeah, looks great. Exciting. Did you just launch that today? Last commit 49 minutes ago. No, 3 months ago. So you've been working on that for a few weeks already. Okay, nice. And it is built in C#. Okay. And Blazor. I see. Nice. So I hope you had a lot of fun, TBD Gamer and Raiders. And let's see if I can continue the fun for you by going into my project here. Oh, it's always good to test stuff out and give things a try. If they don't stick, you can replace them with someone else at any time. I do the same thing if I have the time. Like, for example, using DevBox as my development environment. So far, I mostly used Toolbox and DistroBox, both container-based development environments, where you can simply install what you want because it's inside a container, and if something goes wrong, you throw the container away and build a new one without polluting your host system. And that's what came with Fedora Silverblue when I started using that as an atomic Linux distribution. Now that I'm using Bluefin, a version of Fedora Silverblue built by the Universal Blue team, I decided to take a different approach. Bluefin comes with Homebrew built in, so I can actually install all my tools on the host system. But sometimes I need to have separate development environments, for example, with a specific Ruby version, with specific versions of gems that match the Ruby version, things like that. And so I thought, okay, Nix is all the rage nowadays, so let's give DevBox a try. How am I going to do that? Well, here I'm still in Tmux on my host system, and for running my editor, that's not a problem. But for running the development environment, I'd like to try DevBox, and that's why I actually created a devbox.json file here, which defines a bunch of packages that need to be installed. On my last live coding stream on Thursday last week, I added the Ruby package, Ruby 3.2, and the latest bundler package, so I can actually bootstrap my Ruby environment by running bundle install, which then takes the gem file and installs all the dependencies of my application. And I quickly found that I also need to install libraries that the gem command needs to run in order to compile native gems, which in this case is the Postgres package and the FFI package. Hey Moo, how you doing? Welcome back. Are you back home from your retreat, and how was it? Or are you joining us from the forest? So yeah, last Thursday things didn't really work with installing gems, and that was because if I install Ruby and Bundler from Nix, then I also need to have the libraries that are necessary to compile gems. And by adding PostgreSQL and libffi, I was able to get DevBox running. Let's give that a try. So if I run DevBox shell, it simply spins up a new shell. It didn't install any packages because they are already installed. But as you can see from the slightly changed prompt here, now I'm in the DevBox environment. Because, and you can see that, for example, if I simply check the gem home environment variable, it is now a .devbox path here where my Ruby and its gems are installed, and it's under my project here. So it's specific to this project, and that makes things nice and contained without using containers at all. So if I run a bundle exec rake test, that should run the full test suite, and it doesn't. Interesting. Last time I tried it did. Now we are back with stack traces. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I did do something differently, and that is I did not spin up the Docker containers that are still necessary to run the database and the Chef server and the Redis server that the project needs as well. So that's, of course, I think it makes sense to still run containers for that. So what I'm going to do is need to find my way between what am I going to run from the DevBox environment and what am I going to run from the host system. Question is, I mean, I can still run my host-based tools from here, can't I? So maybe it makes sense to run everything in DevBox from the get-go? Oh, I'm not surprised that there are similarities to something that's built into Nix, actually, Moo. What DevBox does is probably something that goes beyond Nix Develop, I would assume, but I don't know Nix Develop, so I'm basically talking out of my behind here. But what DevBox, for example, does, and Nix Develop might not do, is run services as well from the Nix environment. So in the long term, I might actually not run Postgres, for example, in Docker, but as a service inside the DevBox environment, actually. But let's take baby steps and not get lost in tooling research. I really want to get some coding done today, so I'll keep it as it is. I can still run Docker PS here, and that does work. So I think what I'm going to do, if I go into DevBox before I start the Tmux environment, what happens then? Yes, we need to change into here. And now let's run DevBox shell. And now let's run Tmux. And that doesn't run in DevBox shell. I don't have the DevBox prompt. Oh, I see. Nix Develop is flake-based. Okay. No, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole yet, at least. DevBox seems to be very straightforward, and yeah, trying to pick my battles here. So let's go back and actually spawn stuff as usual with NeoVim in my first window, and let's run DevBox shell in this window, and let's run a third window where I actually run Docker Compose up. Command not found. How's that possible? Have I never launched Docker Compose since I switched to Homebrew? That's interesting. It hasn't been too long since I switched to Homebrew and running stuff on my main machine.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Cygamer, welcome to the stack. Thank you for the follow. I'm still surprised that these essential tools seem to still be missing from my Homebrew setup. Ah, yes. I'll let you be the guinea pig, Moo, and let you report back. Okay, so let's try that DC up once more. As you can see, it spins up Redis, Postgres, and Chef. Chef is the configuration management software that we use for our managed hosting platform, and the customer dashboard, of course, needs to talk to the Chef server to actually effect changes in our hosting infrastructure. For example, if a customer adds a domain to a website or something like that, in the end, this domain needs to end up in some kind of an Apache or Nginx configuration, and that's where we use Chef. So that looks good. Let's see if my bundle exec rake test inside DevBox does now work. This looks promising, at least. Holy Marmot says, it's been a while since I saw Chef being used. I'll get back to that after the ad break that just kicked in. This looks good. Tests did run nicely. So DevBox seems to work. Not using RBenv anymore here, but DevBox. How else can we test this? Well, probably by running the application locally. That's going to be done with running bin dev here. That failed because, yeah, we might still be missing something here. ESBuild did not work. It could not find the PG. Okay, it's looking for PG156 in RBenv now. Yeah, of course, this is not DevBox. That's definitely a downside now, that I keep having to launching every shell in DevBox. That's a little bit inconvenient. But let's first address Holy Marmot's post. It's been a while since I saw Chef being used. Yeah, Chef definitely isn't the most popular configuration management or DevOps software in general. But you need to take into account that we started our managed hosting platform 14 years ago. I think it just had its 14th birthday. Because officially we started in April of 2010, and since then we've been using Chef for our infrastructure work, and it's still doing a great job. It does the job, and we don't have the team size to simply go ahead and change everything from the ground up. Even though we definitely intend to introduce more Docker-based or container-based, more cloud-native approaches, and that'll definitely introduce something like Nomad or Kubernetes, hopefully this year. But I'm pretty sure we won't say goodbye to Chef by the end of the year. Maybe next year if everything works out smoothly. But Chef is not going to go anywhere, at least not in our infrastructure. So yeah, so I need to run this with another DevBox shell here, which is a little bit of a bummer, because that makes my process here a little bit more complicated. The nice thing is that with Toolbox, the container-based development environment that I had been using before, if I start a new tmux window, if I start a new tmux window, it'll still be a new shell inside the Toolbox. And that doesn't seem to be happening with DevBox here. which is a bit of a bummer. But still, we'll see if I can find a workaround. Let's, for the time being, let's do a bin dev here. This looks better. There is a development server, and ESBuilds also seems to have rebuilt the JavaScript side of things, so I guess localhost 3000 does actually spin up the application. Nice. All right. So, that's grand. Now we can start developing. Homehoward says, I think Chef is better than Ansible. I think it scales a lot better. I just don't understand why would you imperatively code in a markup language. When the infra gets complex, I think Ansible turns into a headache. I don't see how in Ansible I would run effectively a cluster of ELK, for example, like we did in Chef in an old job I had. Yeah, I agree 100%. I wouldn't make the statement as broad as you did. Chef is better than Ansible in specific use cases, and I agree that it is better at scale. Both from a infrastructure as code perspective and from a scalability perspective, I guess. I wouldn't want to run our hosting infrastructure with hundreds of Linux servers on Ansible. It would probably be possible, but would require a complete rewrite of our infrastructure code. Because, and I think that's where you can take another step in thinking this through. Because, yeah, I agree, run imperative code in a markup language like YAML doesn't really make sense, and that's why my conclusion was, if I wanted to replace Chef with Ansible, and I did consider that when Chef made their license change a few years ago, I realized that in order to use Ansible properly in a maintainable way would be to write everything that we did in Ruby for Chef in Python as Ansible modules. We would have to turn all the logic that we execute, and it's a lot of stuff, and we would have to create Ansible modules from that, so we can actually have sensible YAML files, playbooks basically, that don't get cluttered with conditionals and all these things, and half-assed loops and stuff like that in YAML. I hate that stuff, both in Ansible and in Terraform. If you want to do imperative code, then use an imperative language. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, changing from Chef to Ansible would mean rewriting everything from Ruby to Python, and there is just not any value in doing that. That's an exercise in futility, I think. And yeah, so I'm not going to do that anytime. But for smaller stuff, of course, Ansible is much more approachable than Chef. So, for example, on my in my monospace mentor identity, I need to spin up course environments for my students, and I have been exploring Ansible for that on my stream recently, to spin up a few Hetzner Cloud instances and try and install a course environment on these machines for the participants in my courses and workshops. And for that, using Chef would probably be complete overkill and would require a lot more effort up front than I needed in Ansible, where I can quickly throw up some YAML, even with the help of ChatGPT, and spin up these instances and get them installed. And we'll continue that work probably on Thursday, I guess. So yeah, I think we are in agreement here that Chef does make more sense in many cases, but I would still concede that Ansible also has value, especially if your use case doesn't require scalability as much. Cygamer asked, what is the best language for DevOps? I don't think there is a best language for DevOps. I'm sorry, but the usual answer applies here as well. It depends. Python is a good choice, though. I would say for beginners in DevOps or in software engineering or system administration in general, if you want to learn a language that you can apply in system administration, in DevOps environments, in software engineering, Python is definitely a good choice. And I would say Ruby is as good a choice too, because both are interpreted languages where you have a very fast turnaround cycle, making changes, running your changed code, seeing how it performs, and then going back to making changes. Both have great test environments or test tools that you can use for testing your code or even do test-driven development. So Ruby and Python would be my main recommendations for beginners. And if you want to get into something more performant, Go or Rust would probably be good choices as well. But I would say their learning curve is a little bit steeper than it is for Python and Ruby, and I wouldn't join the hype, especially the Rust hype, without any need. So if you ask me what should a beginner use to get into programming in a DevOps kind of environment, then I'd say choose Python or Ruby. Take a look at both and basically make a gut decision what you like most. Balthazar joining us as well. Hello. How's it going, dude? I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Balthazar says, I agree now regarding why write things in a DSL, but when I was first getting started, the thought of maintaining my infra as code was daunting, and learning an opinionated DSL that felt like scripting but easier was much better for walking me into the concepts. That's a very valid point. If you're just getting started, having to learn not only a new programming language, but especially a new domain-specific language such as Chef, for example, which is Ruby in disguise, just for the configuration management use case, is definitely additional effort. And being able to basically list steps in a setup process in YAML form, I think is a lot more approachable. I mean, you can still go into infrastructure coding at a later point at any time. And I agree with Balthazar, I'm definitely a CDK guy myself. Python is the new Perl, in which it's rarely the best choice, but it's almost always a good choice. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Python was already the new Perl when Perl still was Perl, which I say with a sad heart because Perl was my go-to language before I switched to Ruby. And yeah, it might be the reason why I switched to Ruby as well, because there are a lot of similarities there. Holy Marbet says, depends on use case. From my experience, shell scripts plus Python has covered me 95% of the time. Yeah, shell scripts are a great way to quickly get something done. Unfortunately, they are not very maintainable, so if something gets more complex and needs more business logic, then going to a real programming language, to a more evolved programming language such as Python, is definitely a good choice. Tiberian joining us again. I still I'm still wondering how it can be Tuesday already. We just talked to each other during my office hour, but that was before a weekend. So yeah, time is really flying. Welcome to the stack, Tiberian. Says my work, 90% of my work CDK, like and hate it at the same time, but likes more than hate. It makes things easier, I guess, yeah. And Balthasar saying lag city right now, both on Twitch and in person, but I'm good. Just had breakfast, having my morning coffee. I am not too great myself, actually. Conor Rakesh, welcome to the stack over to YouTube. Good to have you. Yeah, I have a few issues health-wise that are draining my energy at the moment. And I got up really tired, and also with tense shoulder muscles and a headache, probably caused by that. And getting fed up with headaches from having bad posture, I realized changing my monitor setup. By lowering one of the monitors so the camera can peek over the top edge without being a top-down view was a huge mistake, because that kept me looking downwards all the time, like onto a laptop, and doing that for hours on end probably was the main cause for my shoulder problems and my headaches. So I did make a change for today's stream where I raised the monitor again, pulled them apart a little bit. So I squeezed you, the audience, now in between my two monitors, which allows my camera to be on eye level with me, but I don't have to lower my monitor anymore. I still need to adopt a better posture from time to time. And you feel free to remind me redeeming your channel points, but it does feel a lot better being able to look at my monitor on a balanced level instead of looking downward. As ordered, Beat Spectre. I'm sorry about that. Beat Spectre just redeemed a posture check, so yeah, let's do a little bit of stretching. I probably should adopt the stretching routine that Rachel over at Shale Codes does. She does a great job at doing stretching exercises for herself and with her viewers. That is something I should really adopt with my bones that don't get any younger. Balthasar says, as soon as I'm starting needing to write evaluations, I switch to a more featureful language, largely because I can never remember how to write evals in shell. Never write evals in shell in the first place. Eval is never led to anything good. The dreaded what's better for the show versus what's better for ergonomics. That's not actually a question. Let's see if I'm honest here. Did I realize that lowering that screen might be a bad idea? I do think so, yeah. Because, yeah, why did I raise them in the first place? Because of ergonomics, I guess. So I thought, yeah, it won't do much of a it won't be much of a difference. It's just 10, 15 centimeters or something like that, but I think it made a huge difference. But I'll report back if the aforementioned back is going to be better. You can interview me during my future live streams, but I'm confident. Balthasar says, we need to get you a split keyboard. Mate, you don't. You don't have to. I have more split keyboards than I can eat. At the moment, I'm using a standard ANSI keyboard, but I do have split keyboards, and I probably should use them too. especially in my current situation where stuff just is simply hurting. So yeah, I'll keep the keyboard attached for this stream, but after this stream I'll replace it with one of my splits. You can see two of them back there. Just over here, peeking up, is a Keyboardio model M100. Back there, that's a Kinesis Edge split keyboard. I don't use both of them anymore because they are huge. And so the split keyboard that I do use are either a Korn or a Lulu 57, and they are... Oh, I'm sorry.
Can't even see anything.
You're right. Why? What's even going on here? All right, now, here. That's the Kinesis Edge peeking up there. You can see that it's a split keyboard at 2 halves. And behind the white keyboard here, that's the M100, which has a nice wooden case. But both of these keyboards are huge, and so behind myself here on the shelf, there's a Korn and a Lulu 57 that I use regularly and should use more often again. So thanks for the reminder. And Moo is absolutely right. Why collect all these inodes if you don't use them? BitSpectre also redeemed Hydrate, so let's get that tea down while it's still warm. Now, back to my code. Actually, let me switch back to the camera so I can look up which issue I'm going to tackle here without revealing anything sensitive.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Holy Marmot, thank you for the follow. It's appreciated. Oh, when will I type in my master password correctly? The first attempt. Security key. All right. Now. Projects, dashboard. Oh dear, lots of ads there. GitLab Duo Pro. Another Gen AI system for coding. Well, that's news actually. I decided to stop using Copilot. Reading the latest article by Molly White of Web3 is going great fame made me decide to stop using Copilot. Not because it's not useful, but because its cost, both for in terms of the subscription cost and the cost for environment and stuff like that, doesn't really justify. No, the other way around. It's not as useful to justify the cost for myself, my company, or my company, and the environment. So actually, let me go ahead and well, Copilot is going to work for a few more days, I think, but I should disable it in my dot files soonish. Okay, now issues. Where's the issue that I'd like to tackle here? I don't quite remember what to look for. Please bear with me. Yeah, that's the one. I only created that 3 years ago, so time to fix that. It's 589. Okay. Now, I guess we can merge the DevBox branch here. Did I document that correctly? I committed it as switch development environment to DevBox, which is not quite correct. So let's rewrite that. Let's do a git rebase master. Oh no, in this case it's actually main. Okay. Let's do a git fetch and do the update as well. So we can actually just rebase origin main. And we'll rewrite this commit. Feature add DevBox configuration. So we are not switching to DevBox outright. It's still possible to use RBenv, and actually in the README there will still be a reference to RBenv and stuff, but there is now a DevBox configuration that is ready to use. And let me push that. Interesting. Because I rebased it. So let's do a force push to this branch. Yep. And now I can create a new merge request. Since it's just an additional configuration, I can't reduce the approval rules. Okay, no problem. Let's at least set a few proper labels. So the severity here is, yeah, it's an improvement. Yeah, I'd say it's improvement. It's not really a feature, is it? Well, it is kind of a feature. Not a customer-facing one, though. But hey, develop DX features are features too. Workflow is, of course, rollout. We'll go right into rollout, and the scope is infrastructure. We can develop the source branch. And since this shouldn't be any problem, I'll go ahead and approve this and set it to auto merge. Let's take a look at the pipeline. Ooh, there is a configuration change necessary in our CI settings, and that's because we recently deprovisioned our own GitLab runner, and it looks like this project is still using that and doesn't use the shared runners from our GitLab instance. So let me actually go in the CI. Yeah, instance runners. I guess, yeah, group. We don't have any group runners anymore. Group is basically the organization, right? So, instance runners are available to all groups. Instance runners are disabled in group settings. So let's enable them in this group. For some reason, I can't enable them here either. Because in the parent group, they are actually still disabled. Why can't I enable that? Probably because it needs to be enabled even higher up. But, okay. And yes, that unblocked this, so this should spin up anytime now. You know me well, Balthazar, you know me well. Now come on, GitLab. Do your thing. But on the other hand, I don't really have... no, if I switch branches now, I lose my DevOps configuration, and that might actually throw a wrench into things. Oh, okay, so we are running an ad anyway. Zone 12 over on YouTube. Hello! Over on Twitch we're running an ad, so I'll simply wait for my CI to kick in here. Which it should do anytime now. Why is it still pending? It's waiting to be picked up by a runner. There should be a runner now, right? So what we're doing here is I'm doing Ruby on Rails development here, working on the customer dashboard for my company's hosting platform, but fighting a few issues with GitLab at the moment. I just sent a merge request for my newly built DevOps development environment, and it doesn't want to merge this change for some reason. Let's try and fix that while... Oh, ad is already done, I guess. Okay. Was it just a 30-second ad? I'm still not really great at noticing those ads in time. Yeah, another thing I'm suffering from at the moment is some kind of an allergy that actually makes my face swell up. It isn't swollen enough for you to notice probably, but I can definitely feel it in my lips and on my forehead. Yeah, Pirate Software, of course, has an amazing stream setup there. I would love to have that too. I would also love to have those adorable ferrets. So, GitLab, something is still stuck here, isn't it? How do we find out? I guess I'll go here and into build, or maybe even into the CI settings. Yeah, so build just tells me that it's still pending. Let's take a look at the CI/CD settings of the project. Do I have to enable additional runners here? Instance runners are now available. Lots of them are green. No group runners, but the instance runners should be fine. Maybe I have to kick this job and restart it. Let's try and cancel this and restart it. Yeah. This looks more promising. Here we go. Cygamer asks, are you doing this in the cloud or on local hardware? The GitLab instance is a rented instance from gitlab.com, actually. That's always the question. Even if you are basically an infrastructure company like mine, actually I want to be able to focus on the stuff that's customer facing. And having to deal with a service that has an outage or causes problems is always going to be a great distraction from customer-facing stuff. So we tend to rent our development tooling as much as we can and as much as makes sense or is possible from maybe data protection perspectives. Yeah, I don't see any sense in running my own GitLab instance. If that goes down, the whole team is basically blocked from doing stuff, and then we'll have to drop everything and get that running again. I'd rather have the people at GitLab take care of things, because that's not only what they get paid for, but also that's their expertise. And running GitLab is not our expertise at all. So that's why we tend to go for the buy alternative over the make alternative if it's possible. Can still feel a slight headache. Maybe I should have taken an ibuprofen. If there's any left, because my daughter's still sick as well. She's now in her second week, still having something like a tonsillitis, and since she's discovered painkillers, there's huge competition. Okay, this seems to be going well, at least. Let's hope the test suite is going to be successful. Let me circle back to a post by Tiberian. Just don't try to play with CDK on a Golang, it's pain. What CDK are you referring to? Because in the configuration management space, Pulumi, for example, looks like a great alternative as well. And it does allow imperative programming for several languages, actually, and Go being one of the main ones. And so I'm not sure if you were referring to that or more like a CDK for Amazon or something. Yeah, Cygamer had the same thought. Cloud Development Kit. I don't think I'm familiar with that particular as a product. Is that related to a specific AWS? Okay, the AWS CDK. I see. Mm-hmm. I'm a bit annoyed that the font settings for the chat system that I'm using here for my stream has broken, and I can't actually display the chat on screen, which is something that I now notice I prefer. Okay, the test succeeded, which means the related merge request should actually be merging now, which it is. It's still running the test again. Okay, and then it's going to deploy that. Let's hope both of these jobs will finish successfully too. And then, but that means it's already merged that into main, so we can actually check out main, do a pull. Git smart pull doesn't work in my dev box yet, so let's do a gem install git smart. Nice. Still doesn't work. Oh, look at that. Git smart uses file exists, and for Ruby 3.2 that is not included anymore because it's now exist question mark. Which means that Git smart apparently is unmaintained. So I need to train myself to use the native Git features again. So yeah, let's do a Git pull instead. I need to look into if Git smart is actually unmaintained or if I'm just pulling a very old version for some reason. Okay, here's my DevBox configuration again, which means I can now finally create a new branch, for which I also have an alias, which I need to train myself. Git new branch, GNB, and that's then 589 user no org. It's 589, isn't it? Yeah, it's 589. Let's keep an eye on those pipelines here. So let's do this test driven, shall we? So the problem is, what do you have to know to understand what I'm doing? It's about management of newly registered users. So if a user has freshly signed up, they are not assigned an organization, because not every user needs to create a new organization. They might want to join an existing one. So users by default don't have any organization assigned. Then we have hosting clusters, and those hosting clusters have organizations assigned if they have been ordered by a specific organization. But oftentimes we create clusters in advance, not for a specific customer, but so they are available already when a customer orders a new one. So clusters might also not have an organization assigned. And that organization ID is simply null. And that then leads to a problem, because for each user, we list the clusters that are connected to their organization. And maybe you already can tell what I'm getting at. If a user registers and there is an unassigned cluster in the system, they have the same organization ID, namely null. And that means they can see those unassigned clusters. That's not a big problem because, yeah, these clusters are unassigned, but it's definitely very confusing for a user why these particular clusters now appear on their screen. And they might actually start using that cluster and deploying stuff on there. Which is definitely not what we want. We need to fix that. As you can tell from the age of this issue, it hasn't been a huge issue so far, but it definitely is one. And so let's fix it. Let's do this test driven, and let me go into spec. Where do we put this test? It's going to be a feature test. And I think I'll make it a separate one. So it's going to be a user no org cluster. Actually, it doesn't have to be a feature test. This can be a model test. If the user model has a scope that we use, let me take a look. I haven't done coding on this application for quite a while, so I definitely need to refresh my memory here. So let's see. When we display... Oh, deployment to staging didn't work. Why didn't it work? Interesting. Installing the Heroku toolchain didn't work. Are we using an old process for that? Apparently there is an deprecated key or something. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. In this case, it's not a problem because it's just the DevBox configuration that is not relevant for deployment anyway. So I'll leave this as it is, but I have to keep that in mind and take a look at that later. And maybe even create an issue for that as well. So, let's see. If I log in and I'll say log in as customer at example.com, customer 123. Nope. Did I mistype that? Customer 123. Yeah, here we go. And here's where the clusters get listed. So that's the dashboard, actually. Where does this happen? Views, dashboard. Here's the index clusters. And apparently we pass in a variable called clusters. Yep. Which means that the dashboard controller picks the clusters, and that is cluster.owned by current user. Up here, that's the add clusters. Clusters owned by. So we use the cluster owned by scope, which should make things easier. Because that means we can actually write the test for the cluster model. That's in spec, models, cluster spec. Let me see where I'll put that. Is there already something? No, nothing about owned by. So I guess we'll simply add another.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Haha! Copilot notices that its days are coming to an end, at least for me. Apergra, welcome to the stack. Thanks for the follow. Hello, how are you doing? Well, dismiss? Sorry. It did? Interesting. Does it now boycott me? Well, I'll do without you. It only return, well, we could increase test coverage here. Let's focus on the issue at hand first. It does not return unassigned clusters. That's the problem. Which means we need to do a little bit of setup. We'll create a cluster. We'll create a user. And then we should be able to say expect cluster.owned by user to be empty. Yes, thanks, Copilot. Yeah, I mean, it's useful. I don't deny that. But I came to the conclusion that its usefulness isn't worth the overall cost. Okay, so that should give us a failing test. Let's see if that's the case. Let's do an bundle exec rspec. Balthazar says, if I didn't get it for free, I probably wouldn't pay for it. Yeah, that's one point. I don't think I even get the $10 that I'm paying out of in terms of usefulness, because it's just a glorified autocomplete. And let's not forget that there is additional cost that I'm not paying, but yeah, for example, the environment does. Running all these AI models just for convenience, not a big fan. rspec models. Well, isn't there any auto-completion here? Oh, it's spec. Spec models cluster spec. Yeah. Okay, here we have our failing test. Owned by did not return an empty array or an empty collection. It did actually return the cluster that I just created, which it shouldn't.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Cram codes, welcome to the stack. Balthazar says, I get enough performance from models running on my laptop that I wish I could run it locally. Might be an alternative, actually. I'll have to look into running LLMs on my workstation. It does have enough oomph. Maybe also on my home server, which still also has some oomph. But yeah, I'm running a Ryzen 9 here, so maybe that's going to be and a 3060. So maybe I can put all these resources to better use by running a model myself, to which I can then feed my code with a clear conscience. That might be the better alternative than paying someone else to run these things, based on code that might actually not be supposed to be in there in the first place. But I guess we are all familiar by the ethics discussion of these things by now. Yep. Yeah, I'll definitely look into Olama. And since it's just convenience at the moment, I'm not going to lose much by canceling my Copilot subscription. There's no rush in getting into these things. I'll definitely get back to you, Moo. So now let's fix that function, shall we? It's probably going to be a scope. That's why it's not intelligent enough to ignore the null case. It's not a controller, it's a model. Let's go into the cluster model and look for owned by. Here's a where. Company ID, user company ID. We'll probably have to use a string-based query here instead, so we can actually avoid the null version, right? Rails active record. Where not null, not full, null. Let's take the Stack Overflow first. So where not, okay. I think active record might actually be clever enough to merge two where conditions here, where not. Where not company ID nil. Let's see if this works. No, now it says undefined method. Interesting. Owned by is now undefined method for cluster. Huh? What did I do? Interesting. Maybe I should get a more recent article. Here's where not. Here, that's a combination. Okay, we need an or. Okay. Okay. Working with a boolean that can be nullable, which is often a bad choice, yeah. But it's necessary in this case. It's a little easier to handle null instead of where not. To include null, just use a regular where. Okay. So we need an and here. Is that all? Nope, still undefined method. What did I do? And how is that syntactically correct, but interesting. Let's look up how these scopes actually work. Active record scopes. As I said, I'm not working on this application a lot. It mostly does the job, but from time to time we need to fix a bug. Maybe I should actually be using a class method here instead of a scope. A scope will always return an active record relation object, even if the conditional evaluates to false, where the class method will return nil. Yeah, okay. Quick ad break. And we're back. Thanks for your patience. Maybe I'm going to create two scopes here and mix them. You could definitely use a unassigned scope. Unassigned. And we don't even need a user argument here. Where company ID is nil. And how do I now? Can I just say unassigned where? No, not unassigned. Ah. So assigned where not something like that. Now we're doing experimental Ruby coding here. Let's see. Nope, that did not work. And that's because of a syntax error. Okay. Why is that? Yeah, we are missing the proc. And we still need the comma here, okay. Why is it still doing the undefined method owned by? I'm really flabbergasted by that. As if I didn't declare it. What's going on here? I guess that was the... Oh, there's an and. Wait. So that's the original version of owned by. It will return stuff that it shouldn't, but that should at least work, but it doesn't. What? Are you kidding me? What's going on? Owned by. Okay, maybe I'm just dense, or maybe I didn't get enough sleep, but let's see. Let's check out the original model file. App, models, cluster. Let's run our spec again. It still says undefined method owned by. Was that the case from the get-go? Did I just look for this failure and did not realize that it was because of undefined method? Yeah, must be. Okay, something's not right here. There's definitely a scope owned by, and let's add the other two as well. Okay, something is seriously wrong here. Oh, wait. The test is wrong. Because, of course, we can't run this on a specific cluster. We need to run it on the class, because we want to get all the clusters that are owned by this user, which should return 0, but will return this cluster that I created earlier. So yeah, that was my fault. So that's why I don't get an undefined method, because for this cluster instance, there is no owned by method. It's a class method. So yeah. Oof, I'm really rusty. Even though I'm a Ruby developer. Now, that is definitely something else. Now the expectation fails, and that's why the test fails. Yeah, okay. To be truthy got false. Yeah, be empty is false. It's not empty. Okay, now let's go back to our scope. Owned by, what happens if we say assigned dot where? No idea if this is supposed to work. But it does. Nice. Now, I guess we should be also testing the happy path, which we haven't done so far. So, let's do that too. It does return the orgs cluster. I guess that's okay. We'll create a company. Internally, we are still using the model name company, even though organization is the better variant. Not all organizations are companies. And now the cluster should belong to this company, and the user should also belong to this company. That should work. And I guess all we expect is that we get some clusters back. Let's see if this works. Not 100% sure if I set up the models correctly, but apparently I did. So there's the owned by, does return the orgs cluster, does not return unassigned clusters. So that should be the bug fix that was now 3 years in the making. And I guess that's a good idea to commit this now. Oh, there are a few Robocop issues though. Useless assignment to variable cluster. Yeah, that's correct. The cluster spec here. We don't need that cluster. I could say it could be more specific to... is it to include cluster? Yeah, I think so. And that way it does actually get some use, but here we definitely don't need that. Let's run our test again. Still works. Let's run a full test suite, which will include Robocop. Two offenses. Use describe class instead of cluster. Ah, yes, that's correct. Okay. Describe class. Still. Wait, what's that? No offenses. Based on detected gems. Extension libraries might be helpful. Robocop rake. Okay. Might make sense. Yeah, fair enough. How do I include it though? Let's see, where's the rake file? The Robocop definition here. Require, I guess, we'll add Robocop rake here, which probably means we need to add that to the gem file too. Down here in the development section. Happy now? Oh yeah, of course, bundle install. Nice. So it tells me to describe the Robocop task. Why not? It's going to be an improvement. So that's desk. Run Ruby style. Checks. That's going to go in front, right? And here we already have a description. Railspec practices, pretty sure, yeah, the unassigned scope is extraneous, doesn't get used. So I guess we'll get rid of that. We can always create that easily by copying this line. Let's not have methods we don't need. It's up! Hello, welcome to the stack. Okay, test suite did finish successfully. And that means... I should be able to commit this. Okay. It still complains about the cluster spec. 174? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Ah, it's... Oh, interesting. Left hook actually only tests the indexed files. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I didn't add app and spec. Okay, does that work? Yes, it does. Okay. Oh yes, the camera is frozen for some reason. Sorry about that. Extremely focused is right, but still moving. I'm afraid I won't be able to fix that without restarting the stream, though. That's a bummer. Little bit of a scuffed stream today with font issues and the camera freezing. Let me see if I can change scenes. Nope. That's just me frozen still. Let me try and unfreeze it, but I'm not confident that it'll work. Try to reset the camera. Since it's frozen anyway, I hope I don't break the whole stream now. But you can still hear me, can't you? Can you? Audio is working. Okay, thanks. Let me try and reset the camera. Not sure if it'll... Ah, okay. That did actually work. Nice. Yeah, okay. Good to know that this is possible. Okay. I was afraid resetting USB stuff would require a restart of OBS, but it did not. Now you can get to see me in motion. And that's a fix for... I'm not even sure if I want to have a scope in here. Let's say that's fix unassigned clusters visible to new users. This change excludes unassigned clusters from being listed in the dashboard page of a user who does not have a company assigned. Let's write this in caps so it's clear that I'm talking about models here. And this fix is number 589. Okay, and then we'll submit, copy that as well. And that's basically a chore. Linting add Rubocop support for rake files. And knowing that the pipeline for deploying stuff is still broken, it did break before here, I'll look into the way the Heroku tool belt is installed in CI at the moment, and if it is outdated, and that's I'm pretty sure that's the reason why it's failing. It seems to be pulling the wrong repository key or something. So let's take a look at that too. If I can fix that in the same merge request, that means this merge request can then be rolled out successfully. Otherwise, things will get a little bit complicated. Here's my GitLab CI. And what we are doing for staging and production is we use the install Ubuntu script here, which is strange, but maybe that's outdated. Let's see. Heroku tool belt install. Heroku CLI. Ooh, okay. Git installation. Interesting. No, that's it requires Git. Yeah, that's fair. Install with an installer. Or install with a tarball. And that is actually what we're doing, right? Curl CLI assets heroku.com install. No, we are install Ubuntu. Maybe we should. Yeah, we should. Well, it does. Install Ubuntu should work too. Which is strange. I mean, we could change it to install, and that's a tarball then. I don't really care if the Heroku tools get installed from a tarball or as a Debian package in CI. That's more or less the same amount of effort. But as it says, the standalone install is a simple tarball with a binary. It contains its own Node.js binary and auto updates. Well, we don't need any auto updates. The CI runners are short-lived anyway. This version doesn't auto update. I don't really care. But for some reason, apt-get install doesn't work here. Maybe that's a bug on Heroku's side? It says signature invalid. I'd say that there is something broken in the Heroku apt repository. Heroku doesn't get better, does it? Let me retry this job. Maybe it was a one-off? While this is running, I'll take a quick break. I'll be back in a few minutes. No, apparently this does not work. Let's try this in a pristine Ubuntu container. So let's start a Ubuntu container, docker run, Heroku, name, Heroku test, Ubuntu, which one? What image do we use here? Ruby 3.1.3. Well, Ruby 3.1.3 is probably the wrong image too. Maybe that's the reason. We should be using a different Ruby version here, shouldn't we? Which one do we use here? Yeah, well, it's still 3.1.3, even though DevOps does install a different one. Maybe we should upgrade. I think it's a good idea to upgrade Ruby here. Even though it's a little bit out of scope of this change, but it might be necessary if it's completely outdated. Where's my DevBox JSON file? We're using Ruby 3.2 here. Yeah, that's the perfect chore to do during the ad break. So let's see. We'll change the Ruby version here to 3.2. We'll change the image, and that should apply to all runners here, or to all suites. And in the gem file, we should also say Ruby 3.2. Strangely enough, this didn't kick in. Okay. So let's see. Updated the CI file, Ruby version gem file. Let's do another bundle exec rake test. But still, let's give this a try. Ubuntu, no, it's going to be Ruby 3.2, and we'll run a bash if that's possible. Okay. It did not run a shell though. Oh yeah, I need an IT now, so... Nope. Here we go. And now let's see... Heroku, we did use this one. Still a GPG error. Invalid. That is annoying. That is so annoying. Okay, let's see how the the tarball won't have any key issues, will it? Yeah, that works. Okay. So instead of install-ubuntu, we'll just use install.sh. Well then, fair enough. Let me change that in the GitLab CI file. Okay. Okay. And that's another commit. In this case, it's a chore. Update Ruby version. Update Ruby to 3.2. This change also modifies the installation of the Heroku CLI, since the package-based variant fails due to a key signature error. Okay. Let's push this and create a new merge request. that's extraneous. We can remove that. Assign to me. I'll assign that to myself. Bob. Delete. Source branch. Okay. Now let's see if the Ruby 3.2 image works in CI. I guess we can close this tab and these tabs and Heroku as well. Wow, that doesn't leave a great impression that the package-based install of the Heroku CLI is broken. Is there anyone left over there at Salesforce who can take care of updating repository keys? Guess we should switch away from Heroku sooner than later. That's really, really disappointing. We've been using Heroku for a long time, and since we didn't have any fancy requirements, I thought, yeah, why not stick with them, as long as they are not getting too expensive. But that's really disappointing. That's something so fundamental. I mean, come on. Package repository keys. Okay, the Ruby 3.2 image seems to be working. It is 3.2, right? Let me see. Ruby 3.2, yeah. Okay. It's only CI. No, it's also going to deploy Ruby 3.2 on Heroku, because Heroku will hopefully detect that we've switched from the Ruby version file. To be honest, I didn't think yikes too much. I know there are not the cream of the crop anymore, but seeing that they aren't capable of updating their Ubuntu package repository keys, that's actually yikes. I didn't go yikes before, but today's the day. So we'll have to see if we are going to host that ourselves, or yeah, maybe the time has come to use Kamal with VPS or something. Maybe it's time to explore that on Thursday on my next live coding stream, deploying our own application using Kamal. Yes, I do know that Fly.io is also an alternative. I'll take a look at Fly.io. I haven't looked at them recently, especially not in terms of hosting a Rails application. But actually running Kamal in our own local data center is actually the way to go. Also in terms of GDPR, because I'm pretty sure that Fly.io is probably not as GDPR compatible as hosting it ourselves would be. And given that we are storing customer data in there and lots of passwords and stuff, it might actually be a good idea. Okay, job succeeded, which is nice. That means that I can actually try and, well, not only merge, but also deploy this change. test shouldn't be a problem because that test just succeeded already. And I still have to be patient for it to run again. But I hope the deploy will now work with the modified Heroku CLI install. Let's keep an eye on this test. Shouldn't take too much longer. And after the stream, I'll also have to fix the on-screen chat. All right. In the meantime, if you are interested in skilling up and joining a community that is actually focused on helping you grow, then consider joining the Server Room, which is my community of practice that we've just launched recently. It's basically an upgrade over our Discord server because not only will you have a more capable community platform in the Server Room, but also we are going to do a lot of community events, ranging from office hours like I've been doing on Fridays here on Twitch, but also hot seat sessions where we take a look at someone's specific points of struggle. We'll go, and it'll range up until community workshops where we'll do specific projects, like, for example, deploying a Mastodon instance or setting up a self-hosted website built with a Jekyll and using Certbot for SSL. All these things will be in the Server Room, and take a look at theserverroom.sh to find out all about it. And if this is what you're looking for, sign up and join us. We are a friendly bunch of people, and it'll definitely will be worth your moderate membership fee. It's also a great way to support me, by the way. So if you don't want to use subscriptions, actually, I would prefer you joining the Server Room instead of doing Twitch subscriptions, because it'll be much more of a win-win, because you'll get a lot of benefit back. Now, still waiting for the test to finish here. To be honest, I'm feeling a little bit better. Usually I feel worse near the end of my streams, where sitting all the time actually takes its toll. But since I raised my main monitor here, I think I'm getting better in terms of back pain and headache and stuff. So yeah, I guess it was the right decision to change my streaming setup here a little bit. We do take those small wins, am I right? Finally, we are at the testing stage here. Shouldn't take much longer now, about a minute or so. And then we'll see if the deployment does actually work, because it should go right ahead and deploy this change to our staging environment, where I then can test that newly created users don't see any unassigned clusters in a live-like environment. And if that works, then I'll go ahead and merge it into the production branch as well, push that branch, and that will then get the changes deployed to production. Yeah, Balthazar, definitely do get your monitors to eye level. I thought it didn't make much of a difference lowering the one of my monitors a little bit so the camera could peek over its top edge, but it did apparently make huge difference, because I've been complaining about back pain and related headaches for 2 weeks now, which is pretty much since I set up this monitor setup. Okay. This looks like it did finish successfully, which means let's go back to the pipeline. Test should be finishing any time now, and then we'll see staging kick off. Here we go. Deploying Ruby 3.2 GitLab image again. Now let's see if it's actually able to install the Heroku CLI. I see it starting the Postgres service as well, which isn't really necessary here. Maybe I should also take a look at the GitLab CI definition again and make sure the Postgres service only gets started for the test job and not for the deployment job.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Ahmed, welcome to the Stag. Good to have you. Here we go. Heroku CLI. Go, go, go. That looks good. Now it's running Heroku deploy. Ah! What the actual F? It says Ruby version 3.1. Why? Bundle config file. It contains local state like the... please remove the bundle folder. Yeah, I just added that for some reason. Yeah, because of DevOps, I think. But that's only a warning, right? Why does it use Ruby 3.1 though? I thought I changed all the files that are related to the Ruby version. Heroku doesn't... Huh? Ruby version itself is set to 3.2? Wait. Gemfile.log was not updated after you modified your gem file. Okay.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Kush 2021. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Interesting. Gemfile.log. Okay, bundle update -- Ruby. Really? True that. Okay. Bundle update -- Ruby. Okay. Okay. Do I need milk? Can I reuse the old merge request? I can't. Should I? No, I don't think so. Then let's do another one.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
This is a little bit annoying. But what's not annoying is Kardarv joining us here. Welcome to the stack, mate. Good to have you. Let's make myself the reviewer again, and let's do another merge request for this change. Let's approve that and auto merge. That unfortunately means another test run and then another deployment, including a test run, which is a little bit tedious, but it's what it is. And the CI system does have to do the work, not me. So, if you have any questions, for example, why I'm not going into landscaping or something like that, then post them to chat. Let's see. Oh, Frackberg! Hello! Didn't see you there. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Balthazar wrote. I want to do that, but I don't have a lot of room on my desk, so I need wall mounts. Okay, that complicates things, of course. But I also want to eventually get a motorized desk for sit stand shenanigans, so I need a wall mount that allows me to move the monitors. Oh, yeah. So they need to be movable vertically too. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that sounds like a yak shave. Okay. Weight of everything. Actually, I haven't been using it in ages, but I'm using the old IKEA standing desks. One of the IKEA standing desks, and it's pretty capable. I think it could still move my desk with the PC on top and 2 monitors and stuff. So maybe one of the less powerful ones will actually do for you. Took me a minute to get the context why Moo was recommending high performance MySQL. But yeah, okay. Thank God for having a limiter in my audio filters. Standing desk converter, those are also neat on one side, but also a little bit unwieldy on the other side, and you need to have a place where you can store them while you're not using them, so... Okay, so the Bekant was a little bit overpowered? Interesting. Good thing that I still have one. And yes, I don't have 3 PCs, a laptop, 2 studio reference speakers, and 2 34-inch ultrawide monitors, plus steel vertical mount on it. Dude! What is that setup? Are you even serious? You have 2 34-inch stacked vertically, probably. And 3 PCs. Maybe... put those PCs somewhere else? and have longer cables instead. I do have... Well, I'm not sure if they are reference speakers, but I have pretty capable speakers on my desk too. But yeah, that's an impressive battle station. And yes, for that setup, you'll probably need some heavy-duty sit-stand desk. All right, test did work. We did choose auto merge 2, so let's go back to the pipeline. Staging should be in progress, if not already finished. Wait, test is still running? Ah, that's the second test phase where we are now in the staging phase. Yeah, okay. Another test that should be as successful as the previous one. Yeah, I can see. Okay. Personal workstation, work machine, another work machine. Interesting. That sounds ominous. Okay, that job succeeded. Let's go back to its pipeline. Let's hope for the best. Hope for deploy. CI/CD. That's how I work. Coffee in, code deploy. See you, Marcus. Talk soon. Thanks for stopping by. That's a very cyberpunk song here. And I'm here for it. Who knew that cyberpunk wasn't just a genre, but a necessity? At least Ruby version seems to be accepted now. Let's hope gem installation is going to work out too. I'm going to test that in staging manually after the stream. But we shouldn't wrap things up without doing another round of words on stream, I think. Let me know if you agree. Okay, gems installed. Time to finish my tea. Hey baby asking, difference between GitLab runner executors? What's the main difference between SSH and shell? Yeah, I tried my best. It's all about the environment in which your CI jobs are going to be run. I prefer to use the Docker runner because that, of course, means CI jobs will run in a contained environment, namely in a container. I'll hold this until the ad break is over, just in case a baby is not watching the stream right now, not able to watch it. On the other hand, hey baby, if you're still there, then let me know. Oh yeah, okay, brilliant. Having all your stuff running in an isolated container is, I think, the thing to prefer. If that's not possible, I would probably go for the shell executor, which means it'll simply run your commands on your GitLab runner machine itself in a shell. I haven't tried that yet, and I don't know how much of an environment you need to provide for this to still be working because of all the tools that you'll need. If I, for example, choose a Ruby container on GitLab CI here, I know, okay, it'll have Ruby installed in the version that I defined for the image, and I can then install a few additional tools like the Heroku CLI and stuff like that if I need it. But as you can see, my GitLab CI file is not too complicated. I install the Heroku CLI, install the deploy tool, which then uses Heroku, and I'll export my API key and call deploy, and that basically does the trick. And afterwards I do a database migration on top, and that's basically it. I'm not sure how a shell runner environment should look like to be able to do all these things. Maybe you have to pre-install Ruby. I'm talking from my use case, of course, but you know what I mean. You might have to install additional language runtime environment stuff and things like that, and that's why I would avoid the shell runner if possible. And I think that's also the official recommendation by GitLab. The SSH runner, on the other hand, I'm not even sure what that does. Let me look that up. The SSH executor supports, that's just warnings. That means, that looks like it's an additional indirection where your GitLab runner, wherever that runs, will then use SSH to log into another server and execute your CI job there. So it's basically a shell runner once removed. That'll just complicate things. So if you don't... I can see, if I really try, I can see why this could make sense. So especially if it's really necessary to prepare a language environment for your CI jobs, you might do that in a way where you have, say, a cloud instance somewhere that is already prepared for this. And then you can basically use a GitLab runner that runs anywhere, because all it has to do is SSH into your language-specific cloud instance or something like that. And for different CI jobs, you then use different test instances or something like that. But that's so complicated. If you can get away by simply using an appropriate Docker image for your runtime, for your language environment and stuff like that, I think you'll be able to avoid a lot of headache. Job succeeded. We got our change into staging, which is great. So I'll go ahead and try that in staging later. But I'm relieved to see that it's actually successfully deployed. And that means we can actually go to words on stream. But hey, baby, let me know if you have more questions. Try to implement it using Docker. Yeah, that should be your first port of call. Try using Docker because that has so much flexibility in terms of which image you choose for which test job. And it should cover 95+% of your CI needs. Falling back on a shell or even SSH runner should be a very rare event from my perspective. And Draken says SSH runner is useful if you actually provision bare metal machines. Oh, okay. Yep. If you go beyond the pure test CI setup where you do actually install stuff on bare metal machines, that does actually make sense. But that's a different use case than what I had in mind, being so focused on my current development work here. Yeah, if you want to have GitLab spin up machines or deploy stuff on a different server, then the SSH runner does make a lot of sense. It might actually even make sense for me when I'll switch from Heroku to something else. Depending on what that something else is, I might actually run SSH to deploy stuff. I'll have to think about that. Draken, that was a very, very helpful comment here. That's why I love doing my work here on stream, because of smart people joining me. Okay, so, yeah, now, how about some words on stream? Apologies to the people over on YouTube. I can only choose one of the chats to participate, and for historical reasons, I'll choose Twitch. For the Twitch viewers, we have our game here. Words on stream will give you a bunch of letters. You build words from these letters. Each letter can only be used once. You post them in chat. If you get a solution, it'll give us points to level up the difficulty. Once you've submitted a valid solution, you'll be locked until the timeline has passed the lock for the next lock point, and then you can submit more solutions. And later on, there will be fake letters that you can't use, and we'll have to figure out which one is the actual fake letter until it gets revealed. And so let's give this a try, shall we? Oh, I was about to say, of course, Balthazar has the longest word, but it's Tiberian. Congrats. Educate, nice. Oh, my brain is not in the game yet. Why doesn't it accept deed? Oh, it's deed. Of course. Still got one. Got my honor solution. Nice one. Not sure if I'm going to be a great help here. Could be that my brain is too fried for this. But still great work, everyone. Let's see. Okay. Draken joining the game. Just trying stuff. We still smashed that level. Let's go ahead and see how far we can go.
It's a Unix system.
Draken, thank you. Ooh, so few letters, so many words. Yeah, of course, thanks. Interesting. Already done. Another great round. You love to see it. 3 levels. let's do this. What? Don't deny me the cores. I'm the monospace mentor. The S is not the fake letter, it's the O. Okay. Sure. Go ahead. By a hair, Balthazar saving the day. Wow. Okay, well done. Sometimes it's really the combination of letters. Let's see if this is more friendly to us. It's probably the Q, isn't it? It's not much use. So many more four-letter words. I'm always amazed. We got so many and there's still so many left. 2 levels though. Okay, let's take a breather and then we go to level 10. What? And seat doesn't even work. So it's one of the two vowels, isn't it? Or it's the S. Okay, we're not going to get this, are we? Treaty. Okay, I guess it's the S. Oh dear. No, it's the S. Ah. I keep using the S. Oh, my brain. TTY doesn't work. TTYs, though. Okay, I got one. Well, level 10 is nothing to sneeze at, though. All right, folks. Time to wrap things up. It's 5 o'clock here on the hour, so perfect time to wrap things up. Yeah, I would love to see solutions after the fact, because sometimes it boggles the mind what would have been the solution and how many words you were supposed to actually come up with. So yeah, this has been a great live stream. I enjoyed every minute of it. Actually, I feel better than when I started, which is a rare occasion, but I'll take it. I'll be back on Thursday with another live coding stream, which might be about Rails development to a platform that's different from Heroku. I have no idea, but we'll see. What else? Again, let me plug my new community, theserverroom.sh, where you can join a friendly bunch of people with only a moderate membership fee, and we'll do a lot of stuff to make sure that you can grow your skills and boost your career. So I would love for you to join us over there, and if not, at least join our Discord. It's free, and the same friendly people are over there as well. So if you want to continue to chat after this stream, hop on over to the Discord server, and I'll be happy to talk to you over there too. Now, hey baby, thanks for being here. Happy to have you. Welcome to the stack. Let me take a look if anyone is available for a raid. So don't go away just yet. There's always Mark. I haven't raided Mark in a while too, so let's go ahead and go over to Finite Singularity. He's still there, so let's quickly jump over. Let me line up that raid. There we go. Yeah. So that's it for today. Again, I'll see you on Thursday. And until then, let's raid Finite Singularity. Take care.